Tensura X-Gate. Thus the JSDF fought their X How a Realist Hero Rebuild the Kingdom by NoruSensei. Side Stories 1. Tempest's Development 3rd POV. Tempest. It first stared like a village from the goblins. Now it became a major superpower. It was said that Tempest had the most advanced technology and also magic. Sarian already became second ranking next to Tempest when it comes to magic. What's most impressive that Tempest in the next years further advanced? Why are there no angels attacking them? Rimuru removed the system where angels will attack every 500 years to those nations who are advancing. And also because all of the angels are now under the command of Rimuru herself, while making Milam, her second niece, in command. Tempest became not just a superpower because of its military strength and their technological advancements, but also due to economic means. Dwargon became more dependent on Tempest, but not as bad to those nations who pledged allegiance to Rimuru as Tempest's vassal nations. There is one more thing, that Rimuru also had a headache to herself. Together with Rumina's Valentine. That is the religion itself. Most people had believed that their god Luminous was Rimuru herself. Also some people believe that there is no god Luminous, but there is their goddess Rimuru. Another set of people believed is that Rimuru and Luminous are acquaintances to each other. But whichever they believed, it still brings more and more headaches to Rumina's, but the most is to Rimuru herself. They called several meetings on how they can fix this situation. Finally they have concluded that Rumina's will announce to the rest of her believers that she is just a supreme deity that follows Rimuru's orders. Most people believed it immediately, and so the practice of Luminism had ended. It was now fully under Rimuru publicly. Rumina's and the rest of her clan moved to Tempest, some still stayed to their old homes. Those vampires under Rumina's stayed in Tempest had joined into the newly created squad. Their squad was called as Valentine Ifosu. They're piloting Tempest's newly created jets. In this technology it was very quiet and very fast. It moves to the top speed of Mach 70. But it also has a speed limitation to Mach 3 if in combat. It has an armaments of Tempest's magic multi-barrel cannons. It was produced by the pilot's magicules. If that said pilot ran out of magicules, then the jet itself will switch its armament into Tempest's regular multi-barrel cannons. Despite these, they're still inferior to Gabiru's Hiryu. Their only advantage is their speed and attack range. Tempest also had a navy. They're currently stationed at the following ports. Jura Tempest Federation, on former territory of Clayman. Rimuru's Divine Forest, A.N. Their name changed 2 years after the Great Tenma War from Barren Lands. Ice Continent El Dorado Ingrasha College Town Kingdom of Farmanas. The Sorcis Sarian Dynasty Beast Kingdom Eurazania. Milam's Territory, capital of the Forgotten Dragon. Various western states Harpy Country Fulbrosia. Speaking of former Clayman's territory, it also serves as Tempest Naval Port and Air Force Major Base, under Rimuru's direct command. It also serves as Feudora's testing site of her newly developed weapons. Rimuru's approval on developing further the old Eastern Empire's armored division technology, it was more advanced than before. It was at first under development by Ramirez's research team, but that changes when Feudora came into Tempest. Green Numbers mostly consists of hobgoblins and goblinas are under command of Benimaru. They have fire manipulation and thermal fluctuation resistance skills due of them being under Benimaru's command. They're made stronger thanks to the development of magic rifles. Single fire of it can make a crack into a structure. All of these thanks to Tempest magic bullets. It can be as powerful as a catastrophic class monster if they wish to. But the mass-produced Tempest bullets are only equivalent to A+ monsters. These said magic rifles are semi-automatic or bolt-action magical rifles. When a Tempest magic bullet is fired, it can be seen as a single laser fire. A.N. In other terms, a single Tempest magic bullet can eliminate up to 400,000 humans back on Earth. For the former Eastern Empire's tanks, they were developed as a secret weapon by the Yellow Numbers under Geld. It was known as Tempest magic tanks. Their main armament is Tempest Drago Nova Generator. This can be only fired once in every 12 hours. Once it's that fired, they switch into Tempest magical cannons. It can eliminate 200 said enemy even if they're S+ class monsters. A.N. It was identical to Japan's Type 10 and US M1 Abrams tanks but with more futuristic looks. As for the Navy, it has a design close to the Izumo-class aircraft carrier but more larger. It was made out of Tempest's strongest metal called HDARHRTK. It was changed to its color from rainbow to bluish silver to represent Tempest. Its main crews were merfolks. They had the very powerful Tempest naval cannons that can destroy an entire empire if fired. It can be only used once in every 48 hours. If they already used that, it switches to Tempest naval cannons that can wipe out an entire town if fired. Those powerful Tempest naval cannons can destroy the entire Europe from Portugal to some parts of Russia back on Earth. While a Tempest naval cannons can only wipe out a whole army division back on Earth. The users of Tempest's magic rifles are the following. Green numbers, as supports, yellow numbers, defenders, rear. White numbers, Tempest's human core, mainly as an offense weapon, while magic casters as their support. Dragon faithful, silver numbers, golden numbers, Rimuru volunteers. Navy personnel, mainly as a main weapon into the seas. Michelle's army volunteers, former Eastern Empire volunteers. Users of Tempest magic tanks. Yellow numbers, for defense purposes. Green numbers, not the most destructive version, Michelle's armored army volunteers, same as green numbers. Dragon faithful, same as green numbers, former Eastern Empire armored volunteers, same as green numbers. Tempest's human core, same as green numbers, pink numbers, secret weapon for offensive. Rimuru POV. There are so many things had happened to Tempest for the past 78 years. I'll just skip the others but will tell the rest of the important details. Firstly, Rumina's religion called Luminism is now gone. It was 30 years ago that Rumina's herself announced that she was just under my command. The story goes as I ordered Rumina's long time ago to create a religion under the name of Luminous. I wasn't going to interfere with them, but that changes when the individual Yuki Kagarizaka is planning to destroy the world. Michael's evil plan with Feldway's plan to resurrect their dead god Veldanava. Seems believable, right? Well, it's not me who came up with this, it was Seal. Next, about white numbers. It was created by Adelman. He was serving as its general, while Albert was his second in command together with Venti. Most of the white numbers cannot use magic, so they had to use Tempest magic rifles. It was decided to be under my direct command. Silver numbers were created by Frey. It was another Air Force squad. Frey moved under my command as I took Milam's territory 45 years ago. This was under the orders of me, Benimaru, Gabiru and Milam. Golden numbers are created and commanded by Carrion. Another Tempest's elite unit. It was decided to be an independent unit that directly obeys every of my command. Michelle's army volunteers and Michelle's armored army volunteers came from the world where that idiot brother of mine, Ramirez and Beretta visited. After a few years they decided to serve under me, which I reluctantly accepted. Currently they were assigned to be under Benimaru's command but can only secondary. Their primary commander is Michelle, which she directly reports to me. I renamed them later as Isekaigen numbers. The former Eastern Empire Army volunteers and former Eastern Empire armored volunteers were moved under command of Benimaru. As you guessed it, they're the veterans of the last Eastern Empire Tempest War. How did they not aged yet? I gave them my blessings as they pledged their loyalty to me. It was currently commanded by Guard, Adelman's friend and also one of Labyrinth Lords. The Guardian of the 60th floor. I found out later after they defected to Tempest that Guard was part of Diablo's black lineage. Later I'll rename them as First Magic Mechanized Numbers. Rimuranism volunteers are under my command. Well, I was forced to as they insisted to serve under me. It was almost the same case as the former Eastern Empire Army volunteers. They also received my blessings. Another is that some of them can use holy magic. The most who can't uses Tempest magic rifles. Later on I'll rename them as the Tempest's holy numbers. Dragon Faithful are under command of Milam, my niece. But their overall commander is me. They would still insisted to keep their names as the proud numbers for Milam, so I didn't change their name. Valentine Ifosu is under command of Rumina's Valentine. It is the first Air Force of Tempest to use fighter jets. Their current numbers are around 1.5 m active personnel. Aren't vampires are scared under the sun or something, you ask? It was true for lesser vampires but not for those vampires dukes and above. Also, Valentine Ifosu specializes on night air combat, meaning we can use them to attack at the enemies at night. They're also at Tempest's biggest aircraft carrier called Rimuru. They have the jets there around 50,000. In total there are 680,000 on the aircraft carriers divided. The rest of them are at the airbases around Tempest, Sarian, Ingrasha College Town, El Dorado. Some of are in Ice Continent and Rimuru's Divine Forest. The race that handles the jets are vampires, humans, demi-humans, demons, orgs, hobgoblins. Those orgs evolved from the hobgoblins and goblinas. A.N. Futuristic appearance of the Mitsubishi F-2A and F-2B fighter jets, X-2 Shinshin, F-22 Raptor, F-35 Lightning II, F-36 Kingsnake, and base systems Tempest. All of the jet designs came from Earth. Pretty beautiful, right? Now let's move on to the non-military developments. Rimuru City's advancement are on the top. In all of the countries there are the express trains that goes in 1000 km/h. The model of it looks like this. It was pretty fast that you can just get from Tempest to Rimuru's Divine Forest in just 15 to 17 minutes. There is one more thing that helped and changed the lives of doing paperwork. I called it Maginet. It is similar to Earth's internet. It can send files automatically without any delays. This is only available for Tempest's executives. The one in public use is as fast as those 5G internets back on Earth. Why do I know about it? I looked back to Earth before a few years ago. I didn't add cars to the technology because I didn't want to. Horse carriage is enough. And not just that, Tempest is still advancing every single day. As of the moment I can just tell you the advancements until here.